start recording. Whether this is working. What's that? Right. Okay, good. Right. So this is Anthony's Facebook adverts. This is what you want to look at, don't you? And anybody else's, obviously. So let's first of all go to the campaign level. Let me just try and, how do I hide that team viewer? Pop-ups everywhere. Right. Can I hide that anyway? Close all connections. I don't want to do that. I wonder if I can make it smaller. There we go. Well, that's better. You have to keep moving it around. Right, so there's the campaigns. So they're obviously all over. I've got to move it straight away. What I want to do is change the date. Let's go back to when we were running it, which was, let's do October, November. Just for now, update that. And you can see there was numbers there. Yep. So there's the new client one ticked on down there. And you can see in that time how many there was, etc., etc. So this one shows all the campaigns on here. So now I've ticked that one, go through to the ad sets. Okay. Now, how much of this do you know? Yeah. Okay, right, so let's look at this one and I'll compare it to Voodoo. So for those 2 months, he was running this campaign for new clients there, which I've ticked. When I tick it, it means the ad set I'm going to see are only for that campaign. So say seeing all of them. So make sure you tick the campaign you want to look at. And now the ad sets, that's when you want to group some ads together. Now on Voodoo, we had a set for him and a set for her, because at the campaign, you'd often set your budget. I want to spend £10 a day. In fact, let's have a look. Where is that? The budget amount spent ends unit click. Where's budget there? Where's budget there? I must have done it on the ads. You can set an overall budget for the campaign. So if somebody says, I want to spend £10 a day, okay, you can do it at the campaign level. Yeah, new client offer, budget £10 a day, and we'll look at those in a minute. Or you can do it at the ad set level. So he might say, I want to spend £10 a day, and you might want to do a separate ladies and gents. So you might spend 5 on ladies and 5 on gents. The reason you have ad sets is because that's where the targeting is. So that says 18 plus. It could be 18 plus men and 18 plus women, 2 separate ads with their own adverts, their own wording, their own budget. Yeah, so if you're not separating them out into different kinds of targeting, you don't need to do that. You can have a single campaign with a single ad set and then all the adverts inside it. So ad sets are really useful where you want to mix up the targeting, and separate it into its own little sections, which we haven't done for this. Yes. Yeah, probably, because I just call it new client offer, and it's very easy to then go and turn it off, pause it, because you just go straight to the campaign and say, right, new client offer, pause. You can just pause it. You just go here. I mean, it's not on, so it's not blue. If it was on, it'd be bright blue, and we just move it, click it, and it immediately stops it that second. So you can turn off at the campaign level, or if you say, well, we'll turn off the men's, you'd come here and there could be 2 different ad sets of adverts. So the ladies would all have ladies' pictures and the men's would all have men's pictures, and you could turn one of them on or off, or you could tweak the budget and say, actually, I'm going to spend 7 on ladies and 3 on men's, still coming to £10 a day. Yep. So ad sets are really useful, but it's not often we do that. So I don't think you need to use ad sets often, because it's not often you'll do separate men and women. Perhaps if you were doing laser hair removal, perhaps if you're doing, a cut and finish offer, but gents ones don't work very well, as I'll show you on Voodoo. So I actually would steer away from it, and I would actually make your ad set probably aimed only at women anyway, because you can spend money and get no results. So let's go back to the campaign and let's look at some numbers. So on the whole campaign, his cost per result was 50p. There, yeah, can you see that? That's his cost per click. Yeah, and he spent 706. Yeah. Yes, when you create an advert, You've always got the choice. Do you want to pay per impression or pay per click? Always do pay per click. Pay per impression is you pay a much lower amount, but every time it appears on somebody's screen. Well, I just don't think that's you can just eat money that way, because it could pop up 20,000 times and nobody ever click it. So I think it's always cost per click. So his clicks are costing him 50p each. Yep. Now let's have a look. Has he got conversions on here? Now you can. There are other. You can change what's on this screen. You can customize the columns. It's there. I've actually set one up called SG. When you go and look afterwards, I don't know if it saves that just for me or because it's on the adverts account, you'll see it too. So will that columns SG appear for you? Because if so, you can put your own things and hide things into these columns, what you actually want to see, and make your own unique version of it, if you like. Because one of the things we could do is, if he's got them, let's have a look, customize these columns. So I'm now going to choose some different columns. Let me just move that team viewer. And these are all the different things. So these are all ticked on, and I can change the order that they appear. So we might say, actually, I'm not bothered about the frequency, and I don't really care about the impressions. I'll leave that on for now. What I would like to know about is conversions. Standard events. Oh, hang on, where are they? Performance. It should just be here somewhere. Cost. This team viewer seems to look like it makes things go slow. So it's a bit jumpy. Cost per click. There's conversions. Result depressions. Spot. If you see it on the screen, tell me so I'm not scrolling past it. Yeah, there's a simpler version of it normally here. Cost per engagement, cost per response. It could be under events, cost messaging, media, cost media, clicks, cost, because there's a lot of detail you can go into. Now let's go down to conversions, standard events. So, it constantly changes. Every time you come back, this looks different than what it was last time. There used to be a simple thing called conversion, which is somebody who actually filled the form in. So you could track not only did people click the advert and go to the page, but did they actually fill in the form? Right, I'm going to struggle on this. I'm struggling to find it. So let me just leave that for now. But that was it. Customize columns. Where? Down in these. Right, let's do it more on Voodoo. So this is quite a simple campaign, but the problem we had with him are the actual. So I've gone through now to the adverts. If I wanted to look at just the ladies, and there was 2 ad sets, I'd tick just the ladies one, so that what I saw here was just the ladies, the adverts. Right, but if I tick that one, right, let's move that team viewer again. So open the sidebar up. When you've got an advert ticked, there's a campaign called New Clients. This is the edit the details. There's graphs. That's the campaign New Client. That's the ad set 18. These are the 6 adverts. So you can actually jump around amongst the adverts when you've got the sidebar open, because the sidebar shows the actual advert. There it is. So here we have. Lazy. I've just copied them and called them default traffic name, copy. You could call them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It doesn't do anything. They're just to differentiate between them. So there, if you look, that picture there is different to that picture there. Yeah. Now, this is not where you do the targeting. This is just where the advert has been built. This is what do we say and what's the picture and where does it link to? Yep. Okay. Yes. Yeah. So if you look, we go down here, scroll down. If it's just the picture he wants to change image. If it's the text you want to change, it's a bit weird where they put things. Where is it? Facebook page. Where is it? Where is it? Oh yeah, right. The text, 50% is up the top. Yeah. Whereas the headline, where's the headline? Where's the bloody headline? Yeah, the headline is down there. To me, it's always completely seems the wrong way around. But it actually does do them in the right order. So text comes first and it's there. So if you want to edit the text, that's where you do it. Yeah, I quite like to finish with the place name, top right, kind of right there. Careful it doesn't go down to the next line and you lose it, or it says, you know, bury and so I always play around with it. But that's the short, sweet message. 50% new clients, Bury Salon. That kind of says it. If it was 50% off color, you'd go in here and change it to color. And underneath, you can go a bit longer. Now you look, that's actually truncated, but that's the mobile news feed. You can change it to what it looks like on a desktop. See, now that fits on a desktop newsfeed, but it doesn't fit so well on mobile for new clients or those that have not been in 12 months. So you could try and shorten that, and it's there. So you could make it new. See, if I put new client or not been in 12 months, question mark, still doesn't quite fit. Look, or yeah, not all those, or not been in. Whoops. 12 months, question mark. Now that fits on the mobile version as well. So yeah, you can always tweak around with this. And when you finish with it, you publish it, but I can't publish it because it's now, I can save it in draft because it's not live. It's not, you know, this is a draft one. Why can't I see? No, just trying, hang on, I'm just trying to work out. Why can't I save that? Normally you just save draft. Why is it saying discard draft? Not normally it'd say save draft because obviously that's what you're doing. It's inactive. If I make it active, let me do it. It still won't let me. Oh, I know why. No, I know where. All right, saved. Okay, so possibly it's done it, but there's a problem on this account. Can you see that? They owe £210. So nothing's going to work on this account till they sort that out. She also needs to add her VAT information. Look at this. Anytime you're working on Facebook, if you see these messages, we can't fix them, but they can. She needs to pop in and add her VAT information. She needs to pay the outstanding balance. Oh, yeah. When they get emails, using whatever emails, Sarah would have had emails about it. Right, now there's two ways of doing this. You can go in and edit the adverts there. If it's a slight tweak, or let's just say you want to rerun the same ones, yeah, you can just go in and change a few pictures, tweak a few words, and restart it. Basically, just edit the campaign and just restart it. Yeah, that's one way. Well, I say that's one way of doing it. If you go into this campaign, see it's off. Sorry, it's finished. That's why. But did it have an end date? Let's have a look. Yeah, see it's got an end date of 6th of December. That's when it finished. So I could edit that advert set, scroll down here, started. Yeah, look, see, there's the end date. Now I could change that, but I'd make it live immediately. So you can go in and edit them and then just move the end date to the 1st of January. One way of doing it is to go in and just edit what you've got. Yeah. But another way of doing it is to actually just copy it and say, well, actually, no, they want a lot different, but they want a lot the same. You can hover over the whole campaign and duplicate it. So you could create a second new client campaign and it would copy everything. It would copy the campaign with its budget and settings, the ad sets within it, and all the adverts. So you could leave the old alone if you wanted to, with all its history and everything else, and just make another set, go in and edit them all. So if you didn't want to mess with the old ones, if you wanted to keep the history of which picture and which link, you can do it either way. You can go and edit the old one and restart it, or you can copy it copy it as a big chunk, like copy and paste almost, and then go in on the new one and make all the changes and then launch that when you're ready, leaving the old one sat there, unchanged as it was when it ran. No, 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 no. Ad sets is just the group. Ads is where everything changes. Ads are the actual things with pictures or videos, whatever, the individual adverts. The ad set is a set of adverts, all aimed at women or all aimed at men. It's nothing in it. It's like categories. Yeah, it's like having news, and within news having hair news, and within hair news having some actual blog stories. These are the adverts, and they all sit within whichever ad set. Now we've only got one. If we had a man and a woman, they'd be So you can have 6 ads for men, 6 ads for women. 6 would sit in one, 6 would sit in the other. They could all sit within the campaign called New Client Offer. Yeah. So start with the campaign, then often just one ad set is all you need. Now the ad set's where you do the targeting. So again, I'd make sure it's ticked, open the settings, which is there. You can see it's targeting here. So if you look, it's already at the ad set level. It's not down at an individual advert where you can't do targeting at the ad level. You have to do it at the set. You have a targeting, the age group, the area is all done at the advert set. Yeah. So on that, look, that's the name, which isn't particularly meaningful. It has a default name. I think it defaults to the age group, but you could just, you could call it women 18 to 45, whatever you want to do. Yeah. That was the daily budget at the ad set. There was a start and end date. There were the areas. Now, if you look, you can pick a town and choose distance, or you can choose the town and just do the town itself. So, or you can do postcodes, or you can do a radius around a postcode. And it depends really on the client. If I'm doing Voodoo, I could do the whole of Liverpool, yeah, but then it would miss out Birkenhead. So I'd often do Liverpool, the city, and then go into the map and add Birkenhead and probably do 5 miles radius. Because what you're really aiming at is trying to reach the people that are relevant. Now, this is probably relevant here, Bury, Hayward and Ramsbottom. You could have done, and you can play around, you can do Bury in a 20-mile radius. Now, that might have reached all those anyway. Yeah, but it varies each one. Fretwell Bennett, Manchester, I would probably put I don't know, he probably has people travel from the whole of Greater Manchester, doesn't he? Yeah. Yeah, and you can't reach them all. You could end up wasting money. What to work? Yeah, yeah. So you can make it really big, but you kind of the wider you go, the weaker it gets. But sometimes you do need to go wide if they travel in a lot. We've got one Gianasso in Covent Garden, and his clients come from out in Essex, and doing 5 miles of Covent Garden would probably be a waste of time because not many people live there. Yeah, right. Let's look at hers. Yeah, but the key thing always is what's the offer. Yeah, realistically, that's the most important thing that's going to make it work or not. What is the offer? Is it something that clients are likely to be interested in? Right. So we're now on Revive. Yeah. Let's change these dates again. Let's go back and do October, November. I'm not sure if that's with the dates, but let's have a look. Right, new client color, presumably that's it. Oh, and there's new client laser as well. Right, so she's 47p a click, 56p. So costs are similar to Anthony's at 50p. So you can probably guess around about 50 is probably an average. You'll get some that perhaps might reach 60, 70. You'll get some that are down at 20. It's all about competition in the area. Yeah, but so let's go back to 47p is okay for new client color. Now let's look at the ad sets. Now if you look, that's one is paused and one isn't, but it's over because the end date is finished. Even though that's live, that second one, because it's not turned off, it's off because the date's over. Because you can actually physically go in and turn them off, even though the date's not over, or it'll just run out by itself. If you look, it's not running. But if you look there, I thought the first one she ran wasn't particularly clever because it was very limited as to what it was off. Do you remember the conversation we had with her? Right. Yeah, let's look at the ad sets. So this is the highlights one. Let's click that and open. So I'm opening one of the adverts to see what it said. 50% off highlights in Hale and Altrincham. Yeah, and does everybody call them highlights? What about balayage, which for most of our clients is enormous, because it's highlights balayage. So I think she kind of shot herself in the foot a little bit anyway, because she was too limiting. So we said that and she went back and we then added the colour one. So that's what she spent. She spent £108 on the colour one and got 190 results. So she's basically 57p a click. Now that's the same as Anthony. The cost per click is the same as Anthony. It was 50p. Yes, yeah. If you because basically if you think of your Facebook, you see adverts all day, and they try and judge on relevancy. So is this something that we think will suit you? Yeah, something you've shown an interest in the past. Facebook does all that. It tries to show the things to people, but you can target. You can target people obviously based on their age and their distance. You can also do it based on interests. But I think everybody gets the hair done. If you start putting in interests like they're interested in hair color or they're interested in hair, well, no, because everybody gets the hair done. They don't have to show an interest in hair for this to be relevant, but they certainly should be ladies if it's highlights and color. There's probably an age range. So what's in it? Let's go and look at the ads. We're at the ad set. Let's go in the settings. Let's look at the age range. So the 18 plus color one now, not the highlights. Just waiting for it to open. It was within 17 kilometers of Altrincham, aged 18 to 65, women. Now, the other measure then, so first of all is how much you click, cost per click. That's the first thing. Is it working? Are you spending twice the amount on a click as anybody else? If they're clicking, that's the first job done. But if the offer isn't strong enough, and I think that was part of the problem. Now, there's not a lot of difference between the cost per click on the highlights and the color, or 42 and 52%. Let me just see if I can get some other columns here. Let's customize these columns. What I want is the click-through percent. Wait for it to open. Click-through rate. CTR, click-through rate. Yeah. Has that done that? Now that's weird, isn't it? Look, the highlights had a click-through rate of 1.7%. When we made it more generic and just about color, it went down to 0.94%. She's still paying 50p a go. But what it would mean is because you're only paying 50p a go, unless if she's using her budget fully every day, you'll still get, because the cost per click was about the same. So about the same number of people are going to arrive on your website, whether it was the highlights or the color. Because 50p, your £20 divided by 50p is 40 clicks, isn't it, a day? £20 divided by 50p, you'll get 40 people a day if you fully use your budget. It just means that because the click-through rate is lower on the color, they'd have to show it to more people before they used up all the money. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I think the problem with hers and Anthony's is two things. Let's have a look at. Well, let's go back to that before I go off. Let's look at that colour one. Let's open the advert. So this is the 18 plus colour. So let's look at one of the adverts. Actually, before we do that, let's go back to, these are all the adverts. Make sure you've ticked just the one you want to look at. So I'm going to look at just the colour. Go through to the adverts. These are all the adverts. Now, if you look, the actual images had a big difference. Different adverts had a much higher click-through rate. That one was 0.47. That one was 1.15. So the choice of, yeah, so image one is performed a lot better than image 4. That image did a lot better than that image. Let's get it on the desktop newsfeed so you can see more of it. But, you know, showing it on a desktop so you can see more of it, actually, that is a crap picture of the color when you think about it, isn't it? Yeah. So, you know, the offer is really important. Yeah, I think, you know, this is all a bit rushed and a bit last minute, and, you know, I think the offer is really important in getting that right. The imagery, because you need to get them to click, and I think learning what works and what doesn't. Go back to this again. Just tick me. If you tick them both, you'll see all the adverts. I want to see just the color ones. So what do we say? 1.15% is the best. I think better images might have done more. Let's have a look at his click-through rate. Let's look at Anthony's. So let's look at his ads. Now I'm going to change the columns. Or have I already got click-through rate on this one? Have a look. Is click-through rate there? Oh yeah, it's there. And if you click on the column heading, it puts them in order. So there you go, 2.35%. Now that's double her best one. Her best one was 1.15. His best one was 2.35. So what was that image that everybody loved? Oh, actually, they're all pretty good. So it's not just the image, it's the wording as well being strong, if you know what I mean. Does it encourage a click? Now let's have a look at his one. Which one was it? No, it's not. It's that one. Going all over the place here. It's that one. It's the 2.35. Now, he's used his own images. Are they all his own? Let's look. Yep. See, hers were. No. I think using your own images, as long as they're of the right standard. Well, that one obviously isn't. Jane Fonda. But if you look at his click rates, you know, the lowest he's got is 1.12. Now, it just means the money will get eaten up quicker as well. If they're both spending the same amount of money per day, and if all the monies get spent, the click rate actually in some ways isn't too important, because, you know, once your money's gone, it's gone. Hers would last longer, but I'm not sure she did spend each day a full amount. Let's have a look. So if you go back to the campaign, and I've got it ticked, which I have, go to the graph instead. So rather than clicking the edit button, I've gone to the graph button. That's showing the cost per click and the rates. Where's the spend per day? Is it there? Wow, pop-ups keep popping up all the time. Where's the spend per day? October the 1st, November the 12th. We only want it a short time. November the 12th to the. Where was it? Oh, let's just do it first. So that's shortened it a bit, which makes it easier. My amount spent. That's it. Right. Review lot. Is that it's cumulative? I was thinking that doesn't make sense. I'm looking at this one here. That's cumulative. It's weird because that says £20 on that day. The day before it says £35.49. It must be the green one beneath. Ah, yeah. See, that's green there. That's that green graph down there. Because I was looking at the blue graph thinking, hang on, why does it say? If I hover there, can you see it says 20? And if I hover there, it says 35. But it's the green graph that's the figures up the top. 45, 47, 22. Nothing. £1.49. Or it wasn't launched, perhaps. I don't know what day we started, you see, but it's weird because there's two. It may be when we started at like 5 to midnight or whatever. It was too late to spend anything. See that one there, £9.42, 21.19. And look, it's the green graph, 1964, £21. So that is running at about £20 a day. God knows why. There's one day there it was 35 quid. What Facebook does, it will never be exactly £20 a day if you set a budget. It will try and work roughly to that, with some days more and some days less. If you look, that day is £16. No, it isn't. Oh, it says the average daily amount. It says, can you see that in the green there, is 1688 over the whole time. Let's go back to Anthony's, where it might be a little easier to spot it. Click the campaign. That's right. Go into the graph. There we go. That's his clicks, whereas that's the amount spent. There we go. And obviously, there was a gap where it was turned off. Yeah. But you could change the date range. If you wanted to just show that last week, you can go up there and change the date range. So the office, I'm not sure. I think you need to probably think of yourself or speak to the other managers. I don't get my hair done. Yeah, you do. But also you don't want to ruin your appointments for existing clients. If it's a new client offer, then you haven't got to worry about existing clients. Because if it's an existing client, you don't want to encourage them to cancel the appointment they've just made for next week and wait for the week after. So you should leave it till last minute. But for new clients, how far, if you've never been to the salon, realistically, how long would you wait? And you'll see the advert more than once. I don't think you should be more than just a few days before they can use it, because will you realistically go and get a voucher if it's 3 weeks away? Especially if you'll see the advert again and again and again, because obviously you'll keep seeing it. It won't pop up just once, it'll pop up many times. In fact, that's one of the things you can see on the graph. How many times did people actually see it? Frequency is on there. If they are 1.69 times, that's per, the average number of times that each person saw your ad. That's much lower than I thought. I would. Is that daily? Surely that's not 1.69 times over the whole period. 2 weeks. Let's look at this one. Your clients. Oh, his team view is a nuisance. Frequency. Right, there it is. Right, 5.85. I mean, his ran longer. Yeah. So most people who have seen the Anthony advert 6 times. So I don't think you should be going too far in advance. My gut feeling is about 3 or 4 days, maximum week. But you've got more. You're a client. I'm not. Have a chat with Sarah and Kate and whatever, and just think, would you grab an offer for the following week, but not the following month? Yeah. Now, you're thinking of making an appointment, that's probably when you're doing it. When do you, but I mean, it's different to Google AdWords. Google AdWords is people searching for things. This is actually just being on their Facebook. So seeing it 5 or 6 times is a good idea, because I'll go, oh, is that salon again? I meant to do it last time. I would guess that's what people do. They'll see it a couple of times before they react to it. Right, let's look at another one though, which is very different, which is Voodoo. Let me close, keep that open for now. Right, let's change the dates again. So let's do October, November again. Let's change this to my SG layout. Right, so let's just recruitment. Oh God. October the 1st, November the 13th. So there we go. Here, videos to new clients. Right. 4 different advert campaigns in that time. In that time there, I clicked on the results so I can see which ones were, because all these look like they weren't actually running. There's no clicks or anything. So I clicked the results, so I've got them in order. So there was 4 different campaigns that ran over that time. That's the men's campaign. We actually didn't put it. We actually put it inside rather than doing it as an ad set. I actually did it as a separate campaign, and it didn't work. So we turned it off quite quickly. But look at their cost per result. When they set the account up, they did it in dollars. And once you've done that, you can never change it. So I know it's ridiculous, isn't it? Once it's done, it's done. You change it, it creates a new account. So it's about 10% off. So that's around about 12p, 10 or 12p compared to 50, 56, 57. Hang on, I think that's me, my mum. Just one sec. Hello? Hello? All right, I'm just on a phone call which I'm recording. Can I call you back shortly? Don't worry about it. I've reported to Facebook. I have done, and Tracy has done, and Mike has done. All right then, ta-da. Oh God, somebody's copied me mother's Facebook picture and then they're emailing all her friends saying, but they're saying I've won £150,000. I was like, oh God, Mum, no. I know. I got a message from her earlier to say, Phil, no, how are you, Phil? I was thinking, that's strange wording for Mum. I've found God and got some good news. I was like, oh, hang on, this isn't Mum. Oh, so that's twice she's rung. I need to go and ring her back in a minute. So, right, but look at the big difference here. You know, we're talking about the success of a campaign. So, first of all, the offer needs to be right, and I think Revive got that wrong. The images, I think we need to be more careful about images because the click-through rate can be very different. But also, we're selling something. Does the picture sell it? Using their own images does work as long as they're of the right quality, but better than images are videos. Always, by a mile. They are so much better. Look at the click-through rate on that one there. So they're and here videos for the last. We did a new client one, but we also did their end of color days, you know, when the last color days of the year. Look at their cost per results. Whereas that there is an image one, which is about 50p, same as others. So if you can do image ones, you're going to pay less than a quarter of the cost per click. Now, for something like Revive, you know, it means we're going to not use her 20 quid so quickly each day, therefore reach a lot more people, get a lot more clicks for the same money. So, you know, use video because it is so much cheaper. Now, when I say use video, it can actually be pictures. Let me just go back to that again, one sec. So those are the 4 campaigns we're talking about, and some of them have incredibly low costs of about 11p and some of them are 50p, and it's about video. So let's now look at, let's turn that one off because we're not interested. These 3 have got the low cost. Let's turn the men's off because it wasn't very good. Let's look at these last video to color days first. So I've got the campaign turned on, and there's the ad sets. Yeah, and let's look at the actual adverts. Right, I can tick them all there if I want to. Go into edit. Let's go and have a look at some of these adverts. But before I do that, let's look at the click rate first. So which one? So you can look at the click rate and click on the column and it'll sort in that order. Yeah. So the highest click rate was this one, 5%. Yeah. So you can see which videos do better than others, but they're still all very, very good compared to the very low numbers. But look at the cost, still very low, $15. So sorry, 15 cents. So about 12p, 13p. So very, because it's video. Yeah, but also Facebook wants you to spend your money, so it doesn't want to put adverts up that don't get clicked. So if your advert keeps appearing and doesn't get clicked, they don't like it, so they're going to charge you more. But if your advert gets clicked a lot, people like it, Facebook immediately goes, this is good, keep serving up, because people like it, and we want people to like what we're showing them. So a really good video that gets a good click rate will also be very cheap. Same with Google AdWords. If Google gets a lot of clicks on your adverts and the people go to your website and spend a little time there, if they call it the relevance score, or it's called something else, quality score on AdWords, but on here it's relevance. Look, it's how well they think it's being received. Now, it doesn't start counting until there's been 500 impressions. It's how well they think it's relevant to people. So videos are far more clickable than pictures, than still pictures. So immediately your cost comes down like crazy because Facebook likes them. Now let's have a look at a few of these. Let's not tick them all. But there are some here that are not videos, I think. Let me have a look. They're all videos, but some of them, let me show you. This out the way. Not a video, it's pictures. Yeah, which you can do inside Facebook. When you're building an advert now, one of the options is to add multiple images and make them into a video, including this text overlay. Let me just play it again. So that's silver grey. So some of them have some text on, some don't. It doesn't. Half price color every day. Yes, yeah. So I think you shouldn't do picture ads if at all possible, and especially the ones that tend to look like what I would call stock images, color suppliers, which I think Revive certainly suffer from. That's why using your own images never have that feel, and they're probably more clickable. They've got to be of the right quality, but I think supplier ones are too good. They look like models, whereas these aren't. Yeah, and they're very popular. In fact, the most popular one is that one at the top. Let's do that. That's the melt video, and you'll see why. It's just a great trick. Yeah, a weave that falls out into balayage. And that's perfect for social media. And now Carl Fox has done one which is even better, because I keep saying that it wasn't actually the best video you've done, but it was very popular. This one's got sound. And look, see the shine on it? Dead scouse. Can you hear it? I didn't realise there was sound on it. Let's look at another one. First time I've heard that. Yeah. And these work, so yeah, the right offer and the right targeting are all important, but I actually think the images are really, the videos, which may be images, are absolutely vital. So let's go back and look at a few others. So that's the melt one. Right, so that was the hair videos last couple of days. Right, 50% off new client women. Let's look at those, because that actually, so there's two. There was some videos to new clients. So they're the ones that were paying 64p. Now, eventually I turned that off because this replaced it, and that got 12,300 clicks for 12 cents, or about 11p each. 1/5 of the cost of what Anthony and Revive were paying, and a click-through rate of 5%. So if we'd have done this for Revive, you may not have got, depends on the quality of the imagery, obviously. Where are we? Which one was it? Air videos to new clients. Okay, I've lost which one it is now. Oh, that's the campaign. Oh, that's the same ones. I'm stuck on the same one. Oh, that's the ones you've just been looking at. Yeah. So I think that's the key issue. If you're going to do a Facebook advert, you can do it quickly, but it may not work that well unless you get the right offer, which I think Revive did not, the right images, which again I think Revive did not. Anthony did much better, and I think using your own images. What Anthony didn't do is videos made from those images. So I think with all clients, the most important thing is to get them getting good quality images, or even better, videos, short videos with some movement, because that will make your adverts so much cheaper and perform better. So does that make sense? Now, what we've not done is go into all the detailed technicality of building, but I think we should do that separately. Actually do, but before you start, you now realise, well, if I'm going to do another one for Anthony's, have I got the best offer? Have I got the best images ready? Can I make, have I got enough to make a video out of? Has he got a video? You know, shoot them on the mobile phone. That's what people do now. They've not got to be high quality. Let me just show you the Fox one. Facebook ads, Fox. We've got video editing, and we can slow it down, because often ask them never to use effects and overlays, what they call them, on Instagram filters. Don't use those. Just send us the raw video. We can truncate it, we can slow it down, we can add text to it, rather than them messing around with it and then we're stuck. What we want is the highest quality video possible, normally shot on widescreen, but we can crop it down. You see, we can make it less wide, we can make it slower, we can add text to it. What we want them is the best quality possible, and short, you know, about probably 30 seconds. We will probably slow it down and truncate it, make it a bit less. Let me go to this Fox. So new client, there we go, ad sets. There's the video. Let's look at the ads. Hang on, let me go back to that before I did. Oh, no, that was last year. I don't know when he did it. Let's try October to November. Because he's done an image and a video. You know, look, when he did the pictures, they were 40p. When he did the video, it was 12p a click. Yeah, it is. It's enormous, and it's, you know. So let's look at the actual adverts. Where's the video? Let's go back to the video first. That's got both. Turn those off. So now I'll just see the video ads. There's 3 of them. Edit up there. This one isn't very good, but just simple movement. But they have, you know, got it properly. She's got a gown on, which is one thing you should always take it off. I mean, the basics is the same as when taking a picture, isn't it? Good lighting, good background, gown off. That's a copy of the Voodoo one, you know, in a weave, shook out. Great. And, you know, staff, by all means, you can get clients to them if you don't want to. But the click-through rates are brilliant. Yeah, and the numbers are great. Yes, yeah. So I think what we've spent today then talking about is mainly just getting the right kind of campaign together, and I think spending a bit more time on the offer and the visuals, and thinking about the targeting, age group and genders, etc., before you even get into the technicality of building it, because we'll do that as a separate one. Yeah. Well, exactly. Here's an immediate way that if you gave us better images or even still videos, your cost per click would go down by less than a quarter of what it is now. So you could probably spend a quarter of the budget and get the same result, or you could keep your budget as it is and get 4 times the result in terms of clicks, because your clicks are costing you a quarter of the amount. But we can't do it unless we've got enough of the right kind of images to make into videos, or better still, even a video, and show them some examples. You can get the link to this to share to people. If you choose your advert on any of yours, or I'll share this with you, when you're going to edit there, so if you want to send your client to show them what it looks like, there, you can see where I'm point clicking. Click there. I always do it on Facebook desktop news feed. And now that's opening my Facebook. Oh, I think I've got an ads. I've got a pop-up blocker. Let me turn my pop-up blocker off. Pause on all sites. Right, let's do it again, because I've got a thing that stops adverts. There you go. Now I send you that now on Facebook. I'm going to send that to you. Oops. Which you could do this to a client. So you could send Anthony the link to the Fox ones. If you don't have access to them, so you can ask me. Say, Phil, can I have a really good video from Voodoo? Can I have a really good one that's made up of images, video from images, and then share those with Anthony and say, right, Anthony, look at that. That'll cost you a quarter of the amount, but we need really great imagery. Get them to buy one of those proper lights. The circle lights. You know what those are, don't you? Yeah. Exactly, exactly. Yeah, get a backdrop. They cost, I don't know, 20 quid with your logo on, like they've got there behind in Fox. Voodoo have got one, so that your logo's behind these pictures. Put your light there. You train your staff. It all takes time, but Voodoo started 2 years ago and now have amazing images. Probably second only to Not Another Salon in terms of their Instagram imagery. It's brilliant, but it also means we've got hundreds of images, whatever advert we want to do, and videos. Exactly. So if you got Anthony on that, and he's a bright guy, he would get on this once you'd shown him enough examples of this is what we can do when you give us better quality images and videos at a quarter of the cost. Yeah. I'll remind me, if I don't do it today, tomorrow, I'll send you some of those links to particularly the Voodoo ones where it's a video or it's a video made of images, because those will help a lot. Yeah, well, we could put them on that knowledge page, couldn't we? The only thing is, if somebody ever deletes the thing, the link would stop working, but they shouldn't do. Yeah, I'll put some into the knowledge base so you can all click the link, see them. What you then need to do is you can either do a screenshot of it, but better send them the link so they see it. What you actually see is it in your news feed, what it would look like. So when they open it, they can see what it would look like on Facebook. It's another way of getting them to approve the advert, you say, rather than logging into the adverts manager, you say, here's the link, that's the advert, is it ready to go? And here's the second version or whatever. Yeah. So I think do a bit of work with Anthony on the imagery, and then when you're ready to set up the adverts, we'll do another training session. Good. Are we done? All right, thanks. Bye.